Just hours after a regional ceasefire was announced, Israel launched new strikes across Lebanon. According to reports, Israeli forces struck multiple cities and towns shortly after 2 p.m., less than 10 hours after the ceasefire was declared. Explosions were reported in several areas as airstrikes targeted locations across southern and central Lebanon. Hospitals across the country quickly began receiving large numbers of wounded civilians, with hundreds of people reported killed or injured in the attacks. Scenes from Beirut show emergency teams rushing victims into Lebanon's largest public hospital, where doctors are struggling to handle the growing number of casualties. Medical staff say the hospital corridors are crowded with injured people, while ambulances continue to arrive from different parts of the country. The sudden escalation has raised serious concerns that the fragile ceasefire may already be collapsing. Only hours after it was announced, officials and aid groups now warn that if the fighting continues, the humanitarian situation in Lebanon could rapidly worsen in the coming days.
Shabbat Shalom. Before we get started, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rechah HaKodash, to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to give double honor. Shalom to the 144,000, to the 1/3, to the hopeful elect. Shalom. We're here with a lesson I'm going to call Never Trust the Wicked. And as everyone just seen and heard in this video and beforehand, the moment Trump got a ceasefire treaty done with Iran, Israel went to work. Israel went to work. As I said in the video, just hours after the treaty was made, Israel went to work blasting Lebanon into smithereens, which shows you can never trust your enemy. Because how do you make another ceasefire agreement, then moments after it's done, you break it? This is why we call Esau Edom, aka the white man, the devil. Because you go into that word devil, it just means deceiver. And as you can see, as a deceiver, the moment he got a chance, he felt like Iran let their guard down, because they were getting their ass whooped by Iran. Let's go ahead and put that out there. They were getting smashed by Iran. But the moment they feel like, okay, Iran not going to fight anymore, we got them where we want them, hey, they went on ahead and bombed Lebanon. They went on ahead and bombed Lebanon, which shows you can't trust these people. There's no point in making any kind of ceasefire with them, because they'll never stop. They love death and destruction, and any chance they get, they're gonna do it, man. They're gonna do it. All right, which that'll lead us into our first scripture, Sirach 12. Salakia. This is Sirach 12, verses 10 and 11. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Yeah, you can never trust these people, man. Because every treaty they make, they always break them. At some point, whether it's early on, in the middle, or towards the end, they will always break any treaty that they have, man. You can never trust these people. You could never say that they are gonna honor their word. Now they'll get you to honor yours, and if you break it before them, oh, it's all kind of bullshit. But they don't mind breaking their word. I mean, this not the first time. If you remember back when the Gaza thing was in full effect, and they did a ceasefire in Gaza, what happened after that ceasefire? It was only moments after the same thing, when the ceasefire was over with, they bombed them people to hell. These people are not to be trusted, because they can't be trusted, man. They're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. They're the devil that the Bible speaks of. All they know is wickedness. All they know is death. All they know is destruction. All right, verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou wipest hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust had not been altogether wiped away. Yeah, he go to humbling himself. They seem like they wanted to bring a stop to this and talk and get some kind of action done, but it was all just a ruse, man, trying to pull the wool over Iran's eyes. And the moment Iran put their guns down, we seen what happened. Israel went to work bombing Lebanon. Like, it's crazy, bro. These people are not gonna stop. That's why they got to be wiped off the face of the earth. Because there's no chill in them. There's no hold up. That's why the scripture said don't trust them. Because you trust your enemy, something like this will happen. He's not coming at you trying to be friends and stop and want to talk it out. He just doing that to get himself in a better position to jump you, to get over on you. Wickedness is throughout their whole makeup, man. That's how the Lord made them. As the scriptures say, what the Lord made crooked, who can make straight? They are crooked people. And Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is the one that made them that way. So when he tell you don't trust them, you can't trust them. Because this is the underhanded shit that they would do. Alright, we're going to go here. Psalms 5 and 9 in the Living Bible. Alright. For they cannot speak one truthful word. See? Remember, the wicked are born speaking lies, roughly paraphrasing. So you can't trust nothing they say. You can't trust no action. Especially when they done gave you multiple instances of them doing a ceasefire, then doing something like this. Heck, the last time they got into a little skirmish, they called a ceasefire and they did something like this. It's who they are, man. There's no just bone in their body. They can't learn righteousness. All they know is evil. And the first chance they get, they're going to show you that's all they know. And that's what this thing was. That ceasefire was never about a ceasefire by putting a stop to this war or open up the Strait of Hormuz. It was all so they can get a better position, a better edge on Iran and do what they just did. All right? Their hearts are filled to the brim with wickedness. To the brim, man, meaning to the edge. You know how you pour water and the water go over? Yeah, that's what happened. They are filled with wickedness. They are the vessel made for dishonor that Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua has made. So of course they're going to be full of wickedness. There's no righteousness in them, man. Like the Lord say, they can't learn righteousness. All they know is wickedness. Why? Because it fills them up to the brim. And if they filled up with wickedness, how can you trust these people? How can you go to a ceasefire pact knowing, hey, they're going to betray you? Because that's what they do. Their suggestions are full of the stench of sin and death. See? That ceasefire was full of death, man. Full of that stench of death. Because that's what they used it for. The moment the gun stops on one side, theirs will never put down. They thoughts was on killing. Was on putting them down, man. This was a scheme of theirs. That's all it was. It was never to stop fighting. It was only to make you drop your guard so they can get that punch off on you when your guard down. Their tongues are filled with flatteries to gain their wicked end. And that's what the ceasefire was. It was a flattery. It was to flatter Iran to get them to do what they did by dropping their guard and allowing them to come through and bomb Lebanon like they did, man. These people don't want peace. They want war. They want bloodshed. They want to kill. And they're not going to stop till they get what they want. And Iran just happen to be standing in the way. They're not going to stop for anybody. we're going to go here. This is Psalms 26, verse 9 and 10 in the Christian Standard Bible. Do not destroy me along with sinners, or my life along with men of bloodshed. And that's what they are. They're men of bloodshed, bro. You see, they love to kill. They love to use that sword. Remember, Esau's blessing was the sword. And his father, Isaac, blessed him and told him, by the sword ye shall live. And you see his descendants love to live by that sword. That's why it's the first thing they come up with. That's why they make plans around using it. They're the bloody men that love to shed blood, in whose hands are evil schemes. See, they putting their hand out, but that's just an evil scheme of theirs. Like I said, to get over on you. It was never about having a ceasefire. It was about putting themselves in a position to where they was able to do what they did without getting shot down. You're not going to tell me the moment a ceasefire agreement is made, they coming in with planes and blowing up a place. That's why you can't trust them. Don't shake their hand, no nothing. They're the wicked. They're the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. They're that pure evil that people love to get into the movies, or they see a ghost. I can just tell it was pure evil. No, Esau, Edom, you're the pure evil. You're the wicked that the Bible speaks of. You're the one on earth doing all this wickedness, then crying when you get caught up. And whose right hands are filled with bribes. So if they can't pay y'all, they'll just destroy you, man. That's all there is to it. These people are wicked. That's why you can't trust them. They come in with these smooth words, talking to you, try to make you feel good about yourself. And the moment your back turn, they stab you in the back. Like this ceasefire. Iran listened to them, let those words get to them. Okay, we're going to start whooping y'all. Because that's crazy to me. I remember I used to be like that in school. You see two people fighting. Other person like, let him up, let him up. Why? I'm winning. Why would you want to let the other person up when you winning? That's crazy. Then you let them up and they go to putting hands on you, as we just seen. You ain't even ready no more. You done drop your guard. And he just still off on you. That's what we just seen, man. We seen these people do this. Scheme their way to Iran letting down that guard and them sliding on in and do what they did, man. That's why you can't trust them. This is Psalms 55, 20 and 21. He put forth his hands against such that be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. Yeah. Iran was, I don't know if they really wanted peace with him, but they were willing to get that ceasefire thing a try. And the moment they did, what happened? The wicked broke their covenant. They broke their agreement. Matter of fact, let's get that word covenant. Make sure. Psalms 55. Because you can't say we're going to sit down and have a peace talk. Then the first thing you do is renege on that talk. Not what you're going to do when they go to belt their ass because you couldn't keep your agreement like you always do. Let's see. Strong H 1285. Barath, a covenant, an alliance, a pledge between men, a treaty, an alliance, a league of men, a constitution, an ordinance. See, an agreement, a pledge. See, that's what that was an agreement that they wouldn't fire upon each other. And what Israel do? The exact opposite, man. Those Israelis did the exact opposite of what their covenant for to be in. A ceasefire. it's an agreement to not shoot each other, and they still brought a gun. They still wanted to shed blood, even though the other people weren't ready. Verse 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Yeah, that's all that ceasefire was. Yeah, he make it seem like he wanted to stop, but it was still war in his heart. It was still hate. It was still death and destruction. His words were softer than oil, yet were drawn sword. And they couldn't wait till that ceasefire agreement went into effect, when Iran literally let up. And the first chance they got, hey, drop those bombs. But they the wicked. That's why you can't trust them. They're the enemy of not just us Israelites, but really the whole world, man. Even themselves. As the scriptures say, a man that's evil towards himself, who will he be good? These people are evil to themselves. So they're not going to be good with you. They're not going to honor any agreement. And that's why they did what they did. Because they're the wicked. They're full of evil. They're full of bloodlust. They're ready to shed blood at a moment's notice. And all this is doing is going to lead them toward their own bloodshed, as the Lord said he would. And we're going to end that right there in Ezekiel 35. This is Ezekiel 35:6. Therefore, as I live, says Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Seest thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. See, they don't hate shedding blood. So guess what's going to happen? That same bloodshed is going to chase them. And this is just the beginning. Because I seen a video before I made this one that Iran hit back in Tel Aviv. So since they don't hate bloodshed, like the Lord say, He's gonna make bloodshed pursue them. He's gonna make that same bloodbath that they love to do, love to give. Hey, they're gonna get. Before I go, we're gonna get that in another translation right quick. Let's see. This is the Ezekiel 35:6 in the AMPC. Therefore, as I live, says Yahweh power, I will expose you to slaughter. See? And that's going on right now. The Lord is bringing that slaughter upon them. Not the great one that would be at the end time, but they're still getting slaughtered. Tel Aviv is getting the shit bombed out of. And slaughter shall pursue you, since you could not bear to live without bloodshed. See? They can't even bear to live without shedding blood. That's why that ceasefire agreement was never going to work. Because these wicked men have to shed blood. As the scripture says. Therefore, bloodshed shall pursue you. And now it's their turn. You think they're going to keep breaking covenant and people not going to hold your feet to that, hold you to that? Nah, man, you got to get that same thing. As the scripture says, double unto you, just roughly paraphrase. And you're going to get double. This is only the beginning of the hell that Yahweh Hashem outside is going to bring upon those fake, you wish people. But that's all I had on that. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shabbat Shalom.